So we are here at the pushpa samadhi of our Gurudev, Om Vishnu Pad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Deva-Goswami Maharaj. It's a cool evening. There's a breeze blowing, and for some reason there's no mosquitoes. So we thought we'd take advantage to have our program here this evening. In Navadvip, by Gurudev's arrangement, we would have our English morning class at Srila Sridhar Maharaj's, on Srila Sridhar Maharaj's samadhi. So you know, our Gurudev has set that precedent, and now we feel fortunate we can sit here at his holy samadhi and remember his divine teachings, his divine grace, his divine character. And we thought it would be appropriate to hear from Religion of the Heart, very dear book of our Gurudev, probably out of his own books that were published by the devotees, his favorite. And it was the fruit of many years of compilation and hard work from Sripad Siddhanti Maharaj, Bhakti Premik Siddhanti Maharaj, very beloved servitor of our Gurudev. He had all these notebooks, Siddhanti Maharaj, and he had this like dinosaur computer, and we'd always see him, for years we'd see him working at his computer, and we didn't really know what he was doing. And then you know, we had the good fortune to be able to help him, and he started asking some devotees to help him with checking and editing, proofreading his work, and so we were fortunate to feel a part of the inner circle of the production of Religion of the Heart. And you know, Gurudev was so pleased about this book because it was a heart offering from Siddhanti Maharaj. Okay, well, this may be a one-off class, so I was thinking to select a particular section from here, and I think I'm going to read from this chapter on Krishna's transcendental flute. This is part of the second section of the book, which is revolving around, and incidentally, these talks were mostly spoken by Gurudev in Italy. His first visit to Italy, he stayed in Narni, in a castle in Narni, which is right next to Rome. And it may have all been like one talk. Maybe it was 2 or 3, but it was, you know, in a short period of time when this content came out from Gurudev's heart, and it was here in Italy. We do have those videos. So the subject matter here is the 4 special qualities of Krishna. You know, it is mentioned, right, that your average jiva soul can potentially manifest by the Lord's will 50 special qualities. That the devas, they can manifest potentially up to 54. No, 55. And then Sadashiva, Mahavishnu, Vishnu avatars, they manifest 60 special qualities. Ramachandra, Baladev, I believe, 62. And then Krishna, only Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna manifests 64. And so these last 4 are especially highlighted by our gurus because they are so unique with Krishna. And so this second part of the book is revolving around these 4 special qualities. The book has been organized very beautifully. And so those 4 special qualities, this is from a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sarvad Bhuta Chamatkar Lila Kalola Varidi Atulya Madhur Prema Mandita Priya Mandala Chi Jagan Manasakarshi Murali Kala Kujita Ashama Nordva Rupa Shivishma Pita Chara Chara Lila Premna Priyadikyam Madhuryam Venu Rupayo Ityasa Daranam Proktam Govindasya Chachushtayam Evam Gunashta Turbedas Chatu Shastri Udahriti. Apart from his 60 transcendental qualities, Krishna has additionally 4 transcendental qualities which are not manifest even in the personality of Narayan. These are the 4 super excellent qualities that belong exclusively to Krishna and not to any other form of the Lord. Narayan has 60 qualities and Baladev 62, Krishna has 64. And those 4 special qualities: 1, Krishna is like an ocean filled with pastimes. Krishna is like an ocean filled with waves of pastimes that evoke wonder within everyone. So extraordinary, astonishing, wonderful Leela. Only that is found in Krishna. 2, in his activities of conjugal love, he is always surrounded by his dear devotees who possess unequaled love for him. So these particularly sweet, loving relationships with his devotees in Madhura Ras. 3, he attracts the minds of all the 3 worlds by the melodious vibration of his flute. 4, his personal beauty and opulence are beyond compare. No one is equal to him, and no one is greater than him. He is so beautiful that he is called Krishna, which means, yes, all attractive. He's so beautiful, he is known by that, by his power, extreme power of attraction. Okay, so I'm going to jump ahead now to this 3rd quality which is mentioned, Krishna's transcendental flute. So this is chapter 3 of part 2, Krishna's transcendental flute. Chi Jagan Manasakarshi Murali Kala Kujita. And this is actually this is just a thought that's floating in my head right now. But out of the 4 qualities listed, this is actually something that is more relevant to us, because Krishna's flute song manifests in this world through kirtan, through the words of the sadhus, through the words of scripture. His flute, it's not only pervading the spiritual atmosphere, but it's also entering this divine plane in the form of his message, his calling the souls to come home, and in the form of kirtan. So this quality, it is pertinent to us in one way. So Tri Jagan Manasakarshi Murali Kala Kujita. He attracts the minds of all 3 worlds by the melodious vibration of his flute. Whereas the other qualities, that's up on a shelf. Nothing to do with us at present. It's behind it's on our altar. We're worshiping that. Doesn't have so much relevance in our current practicing lives. But his divine call into this world to try to bring souls to that world, that is being expressed through his flute. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he chose the flute as one of the main symbols used in the ornamental decoration in our temple. And also Gurudev, of course, has chosen the flute, Krishna's flute, in our mat logo, So that divine flute song is very significant, relevant for us conditioned souls. Okay. The 3rd quality mentioned by Srila Rupa Goswami as belonging exclusively to Krishna and not to any other form of the Lord is that Krishna is the player of the transcendental flute. Chi Jagan Manasakarshi Murali Kalo Kujita. The transcendental sound that comes, I think this was all in one talk, you know. I think this was all one talk of Gurudev's. I mean, this part 2 where he's talking about the 4 qualities. The transcendental sound that comes from Krishna's flute is so sweet that it attracts all the universes. And there are millions and millions of universes in the sky. Everyone becomes half mad and crazy when they hear the sweet sound of Krishna's flute. The courtyard looks like the ocean, and the ocean like the courtyard. No one can conceive where this very sweet sound vibration is coming from. Brahma and others, who are all expert about Shabda, sound, are stunned to hear the miraculous sound of Krishna's flute. That's very wonderful. Because, you know, just think about so many Vedic experts, right, who can chant so many Vedic mantras, and, you know, they can give many discourses about the significance of different great Vedic mantras, and they're very sober and very grave and very wise and very intelligent. But when they hear the sound of Krishna's flute, they lose their minds. We don't know about this sound, you know, this is another kind of sound. There's a, probably Gurudev will quote it here, but there's a verse, yeah, it's coming up, by Rupa Goswami, describing the effects of this, when this sound enters the atmosphere. Yeah, and then one of the things he mentions is how, you know, even Brahma, he's astonished by it. And Anantadev, his heads are spinning. Anantashesh, his heads are spinning when he hears this wonderful sound. Okay. Service attraction. The transcendental sound of Krishna's flute attracts his dear servitors' hearts according to their own service mood. From only one sound, his various servitors get a variety of inspirations. This is such a wonderful point, you know. I mean, like how that sound has its play and significance in that world, in the spiritual plane, and also has its play and significance within this world. You know? And Gurudev, he gave one example. It was here in Italy. I think it might have been here at Villa Govinda. He gave one analogy for this. You know, this flute, the sound of Krishna's flute, it activates all of his servitors in their respective moods. It inspires and activates them in their respective moods. And Gurudev, he gave one example once, like a ship captain blowing a whistle. Then everybody it means something to everyone. It means something different to everyone. You know, for one person it means like hoist the flag. Another person means get ready to sail. You know,
load the gunpowder.
Load the gunpowder. What?
Swab the decks, cut the potatoes.
Swab the decks, cut the potatoes. So it means something different to everyone. When they hear that sound, they all have their particular duty they know they're supposed to do. So similarly in Vrindavan, when Krishna's associates hear that sound, you know, it inspires them all in their respective services. From only one sound, his various servitors get a variety of inspirations. Mother Jashoda hears, "Oh, mother, I am hungry. Give me some milk and butter." Yashoda sunye, nani de ma bale, hoilo goshter bela, shunuye rakale. The cowherd boys hear, Krishna wants to play with us. He wants our association. Radharani hears something else, and others hear something different. Everyone hears the same sound of Krishna's flute, according to their own service mood, and everyone is simply astonished and amazed to hear the miraculous sound of Krishna's flute. The original song is the sound of Krishna's flute. Once, a lady from Russia asked me if it was all right to play music for Krishna. She was very creative, but she said she had never used the name of Krishna in her music. She wanted to know if it is possible to make advancement in Krishna consciousness by playing music for Krishna, even though she never mentioned Krishna's name. I told her in order to get the highest benefit of life, it is necessary to make contact with the original sound vibration, and that sound is the sound of Krishna's flute. I quoted the following shloka of Dhruva Maharaj. It's such a wonderful response. Stanabhilashita pasi stitoham tvam praptavan deva muninja guyam kacham vichinvan api divya ratnam swamin kritartosmi varam nayache. When Vishnu, mosquitoes are coming now. When Vishnu asked Dhruva Maharaj to accept a boon from him, Dhruva Maharaj said, "Why should I accept a boon from you? You are like a jewel standing before me, and I have come searching for a broken piece of glass. When I see you standing before me, you appear like a jewel. Why should I accept a broken piece of glass?" So this is I think most of our friends here, they know this pastime of Dhruva Maharaj. We came across this verse recently in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Dhruva Maharaj, he was hurt by his father and by his stepmother, and so he was advised by his mother to pray to Lord Vishnu for some type of recompense or some type of what's the word I'm looking for? Something to make up for his pain, some type of retribution.
Retribution or reconciliation? Reconciliation would be a passive thing. Retribution would be...
He was angry. He was upset. Maybe retribution's too strong, but he wanted something. He wanted some compensation, let's say. He wanted some compensation. Because he was neglected very unkindly by his father, by the influence of his stepmother, and so he wanted like some position where he'd have to be given some attention and some recognition. And so he did very extreme austerities for some time, so much so that it started to create disturbance in the atmosphere, and by the influence of that subtle energy that was being produced by his extreme austerities, the earth was becoming disturbed. So the devas, they prayed to Lord Vishnu, please, find out what he wants. And so first, Lord Vishnu, he sent Narada to initiate him, and he gave him I think it was the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And then the Lord appeared and what boon can I give you? I'm pleased with your austerities. But then when Dhruva saw the beauty of Lord Narayan, then suddenly, everything that he'd been, striving so hard for, all appeared meaningless. It all appeared like garbage to him. Faced with such beauty and charm and wonder before him, he felt this is infinitely more valuable than any type of achievement in this world. Forget all of that. And so there's this wonderful verse which is recorded in the Hari Bhakti Sudodoi, where he's like expressing the heartfelt feeling of Dhruva, that I was searching for pieces of broken glass. What was it that I was aspiring for but some garbage in the gutter, pieces of broken glass. And what have I got? I've got a diamond now. Now you were here before me, that all is garbage, So it's a very nice response that Gurudev made. This lady, she has some attraction to some worldly music, and Gurudev's like gently, tactfully telling her, if you can touch, if you can have contact with that original sounds, Krishna's flute song, then whatever taste you have in this music of this worldly plane, that will appear like nothing to you. That will appear like garbage to you. If you can touch that original sound, this is all like a perverted reflection of that original, beautiful, sweet sound. So try to connect with that. Very nice, very beautiful response. This is the real song, and this is the sound of Krishna's flute. All vibrations in this material world come from Krishna's flute, and that vibration travels everywhere. It is not only in this world, but it is in the transcendental world as well. All songs in this world are illuminated and activated by the sweet sound of Krishna's flute. See, that is the thing, and this is something that's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Wherever we're finding something that is attractive, something that's beautiful, that has some type of power, that's actually a manifestation of Krishna's beauty, Krishna's power. But it's a very hazy, dim expression of that. Illumination and activation. Through the effulgence of light, we can see everything, but we can't see the effulgence's source, the original light. Through the effulgence of light, we can see everything, but we can't see the source of that effulgence, the original light. When we are connected with the original light, we automatically see the effulgence. It is not necessary to try and see only the effulgence separately from the original light. Very nice. This idea is stated in another way in Srimad Bhagavatam. Nadadar jodu paschana swajotsna vajiter ganai ahammatya basitaya swabasa purusho yata. When a cloud covers the moon, we cannot see the moon, but we see the cloud because of the effulgence of the moon. Very nice. This verse, generally it's describing the relationship between the Atma and our layers of material existence. And a very helpful analogy that the Atma, the soul, is like the moon on a cloudy night, and you're not able to see the moon because it's obscured by the clouds, but you can only see the clouds because of the light of the moon behind. And so similarly, we cannot see our soul because it's covered by these layers of the mind, intelligence, body, senses. But at the same time, these outer layers are only activated and illuminated by the light of that Atma, by the potency of that Atma behind. So this is quite interesting. Gurudev's, he's using that analogy in a slightly different way here, saying how like the beauty, the sweetness we see in this world, that's actually possible because of Krishna's energy in the background. I lost my spot. The original sound is the sound of Krishna's flute in the transcendental world. And because of this, all songs in this world are illuminated and activated. Everything in this world is activated by the sound of Krishna's flute. Wow. The original sound is the sound of Krishna's flute in the transcendental world. And because of this, all songs in this world are illuminated and activated. Everything in this world is activated by the sound of Krishna's flute. So our duty is to seek out the real source of that. That play, that divine play, it is manifesting in this world in a perverted way. So we have to try to seek out the origin of that, the source of that, and its pure expression. When we get a connection with the original sound, the sound of Krishna's flute, everything in this world becomes Sat Chit Anandamoy, perfect. Sometimes we try to get pleasure here through songs, and we may get ecstatic feelings, but they are nothing compared to the feelings that come from the transcendental song of Krishna's flute. Once we get that connection, any song we sing must be for the glorification of Krishna. Because the original song of everything comes from Krishna's flute. Wow, this is so profound. How are we doing for time?
We've been going for 27 minutes.
Okay.
Another 27, I think.
Tansen's guru. Once there was a famous singer in India named Tansen. When he sang, a cloud would form in the sky. Fire would manifest and rain would fall. He was the king's musician and a great singer. His guru was Haridas. King Akbar asked Tansen where he had learned to sing so nicely. Tansen said he had not really learned anything, but had only learned a small percentage from his guru, Haridas. He said, "If you hear my guru sing, you will never forget it." Akbar asked Tansen if he could bring his guru to him, but Tansen said his guru would never come to a king's assembly, because he did not live within the jurisdiction of a king. He lived within the Lord's jurisdiction. Akbar was very intelligent and said, "I want to see your guru at least one time. Can you take me to him?" Tansen said, "You can see my guru, but you can't hear his song. His song is a transcendental song, and you're not qualified to hear that song. His mercy has given me some power, and through that everything is revealed to me." Still, Akbar wanted to hear Haridas sing. Haridas sang early in the morning. He glorified Krishna and lived in a thatched hut. So Akbar dressed in ordinary clothes and went to hear him sing. After Akbar heard Haridas sing, he was stunned. He fell at Haridas's feet. Later, Haridas's guru, Shivaji, gave his entire kingdom to Haridas. Haridas said he had taken his kingdom because he was Shivaji's disciple and Shivaji wanted him to take it. Haridas asked Akbar to try and protect everything nicely. This is a long story, but the meaning is that through the light of the transcendental sound vibration, everything in this world is activated. All songs in this world are activated by the sound of Krishna's flute. All sounds are transmitted through ether, and ether is mundane. If we can connect our songs with the transcendental song, which means the transcendental sound vibration of Krishna's flute, our songs will become transcendental. Sound, shadow, and reality. It is said in the Vedic scriptures that sound is Shabda Brahma. It is a spiritual vibration. It exists on the borderline of Goloka. When sound in this world gets a connection with the spiritual world, it must go to Krishna. Here, all sounds come through the flute of Krishna, but they are shadow sounds. When the shadow takes form, it becomes reality. It has pure form. Since the mere shadow can give us so much pleasure, how much pleasure can the real song give us? Because of this, we need to search for that reality. It is also said in the Vedas that sound is the origin of the Vedas, and that the Vedas are a transcendental sound vibration, not a mundane vibration. They are called Sat Gun or Veda Gun. Everything in this world comes through transcendental vibrations, and everything here is activated by those vibrations which come from Krishna's flute. Krishna's flute is the original song and the life of the whole creation. Song is good, no doubt, and if it is good here, it must be even better there. We can say Krishna's flute song is the supermost excellent song. I want to find a translation for because Gurudev doesn't give the full translation for this verse. Stunned by sound. Srila Rupa Goswami has composed many shlokas glorifying the sound of Krishna's flute. Rundan ambubratascha matkriti param korvan muhustumburum dhyanad antarayan sanandamukhan vishmapayan vedasam Otsugyavali balim chotulayan bogindram agornayan bindan andakataha bitim abito pabrahma vamshi dvani. This is from Vidagdha Madhava. The sound of Krishna's flute travels throughout the entire transcendental and material worlds. It encompasses everything with joy, ecstasy, beauty, and charm. Everything takes form from that wonderful sound. When Lord Brahma hears the sound of Krishna's flute, he wonders where it comes from. Everyone is astonished to hear the sound of Krishna's flute. Anantadev, who holds the earth on his head, turns his head after hearing the sound of Krishna's flute. Okay, I want to read this because Gurudev's giving some feeling for the shloka, but it's nice to also hear the literal translation. The transcendental vibration, the transcendental vibration of Krishna's flute blocked the movements of the rain clouds, struck the Gandharvas full of wonder, and agitated the meditation of great saintly persons like Sanak and Sanandan. It created wonder in Lord Brahma, wrought intense curiosity that agitated the mind of Bali Maharaj, who was otherwise firmly fixed, made Maharaj Ananta, the carrier of the planets, whirl around, and penetrated the strong coverings of the universe. Thus the sound of the flute in the hands of Krishna created a wonderful situation. See, they agree. Maybe we can finish this. Maybe not. We'll read a little more. Gayatri, the flute song. When Lord Brahma took birth from the lotus flower, born from the navel of Lord Vishnu, he saw everything was dark. He tried to remember who he was and where he had come from, but he couldn't understand anything. Then he heard one sound, and that was top. He was awakened by that sound and began to search where it had come from and which sound he should meditate on. Then he heard the sound of Krishna's flute, and that was the sound of the Gayatri Mantra. Guru Maharaj said, Gayatri Moralishta Kirtana Danam Radhapadam Dhimahi. The Gayatri Mantra is the original song of Krishna's flute. We should try and connect with that song. Songs are good here, but if we are addicted to mundane songs, we will be cheated. When we know that songs are very beautiful, tasteful, and charming here, we should try and connect with the original song. The flute sings the glories of Sri Radha. The extreme explanation of Krishna's flute is given by Om Vishnu Pad, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Deva-Goswami Maharaj. He said, everything comes from the flute of Krishna. All mantras, including the whole Gayatri Mantra, come from Krishna's flute. Gayatri Moralishta Kirtana Danam Radhapadam Dhimahi. What is the heart of the sound of Krishna's flute? The heart of that sound is Radharani, because without Radharani, Krishna cannot think of anything. Rai kohe Krishna hoy dira lalita, nirantar kama krida jahar charita. Krishna is always playing with Radharani, so without Radharani, he cannot think of anything. Therefore, Srila Guru Maharaj said, if you want to meditate on the Gayatri Mantra, take shelter of the lotus feet of Radharani. You need to meditate on the Gayatri Mantra to fulfill your spiritual desires. You will be supremely benefited if you try to understand the meaning of the Gayatri Mantra. Gayatri Moralishta Kirtana Danam. Murali means flute, and Ishta means what one wants to express, and that is the glories of Radharani, the beauty of Radharani, and everything concerning Radharani. Everything about Radharani has come from the flute song of Krishna. The Gayatri Mantra has simultaneously come from the sound of Krishna's flute. The whole Gayatri Mantra has given us this inspiration. Prachodayat means what you meditate on must go to the lotus feet of Radharani. Go there. Go where you will get gold and diamonds. Go to the gold mine for gold. Go to the diamond mine for diamonds. Don't go to the coal mine to search for gold. If you want gold, go to the gold mine. You won't get it in the market. It is in a special and protected area guarded by Srila Deva-Goswami and others. Srila Guru Maharaj said, Shri Gauranumatam Sarupa Viditam Rupa Grajainadritam Rupa Dhyai Pariveshitam Raguganer Ashraditam Sevitam Jiva Dyer Abhirakshitam Shuka Shiva Brahmadi Samanitam Shri Radha Pada Sevanamritam Maho Tadatam Isho Bhavam. If you want the property of service to Lord Krishna, service to your lover Krishna, surrender to Radharani and go there. I think it's a good place to stop, and then we have a really nice place to start. Which we can, let's see when we can continue. Yeah, really nice.
It's just astonishing.
Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Deva-Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai Shri Yukta Vishaka Devi Das ki.